Hello my friend, welcome to this video. If you're here, I believe you're a little confused about what changes are coming in with the new introduction of PMBOK 8 via PMI. And if you've already started studying for your PMP examination, what are the additional things you need to know if you want to appear for this PMP exam as per the new format. But before we go into it, let's first have a look at what are the things we are going to cover in today's video. The first thing we are going to cover today is the evolution, like how PMBOK reached here from 6th to 7th to 8th edition. Then we'll look at what are the actual changes in terms of principles, domains, focus area and processes. Then we'll have a side-by-side comparison of the 7th versus 8th edition. Then we need to see in PMBOK 8 what are the new topics coming in terms of AI integration, sustainability, PMAs and procurement. Then in terms of PMP exam impact, how it is going to change in terms of the timeline, the eco changes and the new question formats. And lastly, we will have a look at the action plan which you need to follow if you want to give exam as per the new format. Moving on to the evolution, which is like how we got here. So if you see, by the way, I gave the PMP certification when it is following the 6th edition 2017 format. At that time, there were around 49 processes. A lot of memorization, prescriptive information and detailed information was required during this time. Then they had like 10 knowledge areas, 5 process groups, and the ITTOs were everywhere. Like every process groups and every knowledge area consists of like ITTO, which is the inputs, tools and techniques and the outputs. In 7th edition, they completely removed the ITTOs. It was more on the outcome focused. They do not have the 49 processes as well, so they removed it in 7th edition, that part as well. They bring in like 12 principles, 8 performance domains. So instead of 10 knowledge areas, they start calling it the performance domains and convert it into like from 10 to 8. The 5 process groups, so there was nothing in 7th edition, but in the 8th edition they brought it back. And this exam was very flexible, but it was very abstract. So this is like very important point. I need to focus that as well. Now with the introduction of the 8th edition, which is 2025, they are bringing from 12 principles to like 6 principles, 8 performance domain converted to like 7 performance domains. The process groups are coming back again from the 6th edition, and instead of process groups, they now started calling it the focus areas. The processes are also coming back. Instead of 49, they moved it to like 40, but make it non-prescriptive. As I mentioned that in the 6th edition, this was very prescriptive. So I can say the 8th edition is the best of both worlds. Like it is more focused on the agile, it is focused on the AI, and it is also bringing in some tasks so that you can follow when the real situation arrives as a PMP project manager. Now have a quick recap of what the PMBOK 7th edition brought for us, like what did worked well and what didn't work well for them. So what worked well is like it shifted from process heavy to principle focused. It introduced 12 guiding principles. They defined 8 performance domains. They embraced like agile, hybrid and predictive methodology, and they focused on value instead of the tasks. But where practical, so I think all of these things worked really well. Where practitioners really struggled are that this PMP format was too abstract and was very hard to replicate what you have learned in your day-to-day life. They removed the process groups entirely, so in a way they lost the structure. There was no clear how to. So it means that the ITTOs, since the ITTOs were completely removed, so project managers were not aware like what if certain input they received, what are the tools they need to apply on that, and then what are the output they're going to receive for that. Then these 12 principles felt like overlapping, so they were like a stakeholder, then there is team, so the things were overlapping on each other. Then these domains were very conceptual and not mapped to the real task, which is a shame. Now let's look into what are the key dates which is very, very important for you. So on 13 November, they released the Kindle edition. On 13 January, they released the print paper edition. Then on the 30 January, the PMI actually started using the new PMP exam pilot window, which is good. On 14th April, they are going to update the study material. Then on the 9th of July, they are going to release the new PMP format globally. So it means like if you are planning to appear the exam after June 9 2026, you have to give with the new PMP exam format. But if it is before, you can still look into the PMBOK 7 which you already have and the current exam format, so no problem in that. Now let's look into the principles which came down from 12 to 6. Very interesting. In the 7th edition, they have like 12 principles are like: be a diligent, respectful and caring steward, create a collaborative team environment, effectively engage with stakeholders, focus on value, recognize, evaluate and respond to system interactions, demonstrate leadership behaviors, tailor based on context, build quality into processes and outcomes, navigate complexity, optimize risk responses, embrace adaptability and resilience, enable change to achieve the envisioned future state. Now, I believe all of these things are good and focus on the value which you need to deliver, but how to deliver those values is very hard to understand from this format. The PMBOK 8th turned all of these 12 principles into like 6 principles. So what it is saying is that first of all, like adopt a holistic view. It's like begin with the end in mind, focus on the value, then on the task completion. So when you do a waterfall method, your focus completely remains on the activities because it's all sequential. In the Agile, you're focusing on values. That's why like things keeps changing in Agile. Then embed the quality into it. So if you do not focus on the quality, ultimately the output which is going to be produced has to be worked again. So focus on the quality while you're working on any activity. Then be an accountable leader. Think of every task which is assigned to you as like you are accountable for that and give your heart and soul for the actions. It basically means that project manager is the center of every activity which has been ongoing. Then integrate sustainability. This is one of the most important factor which has been introduced in the 8th edition only. It was not there before. I mean, it was touched slightly, but it was not detailed, which is more on the environmental, economic and the social responsibility you need to follow. Then build an empowered culture, like promote collaboration through diverse teams. And I think this is what is the main focus of the Agile as well. Now the 6 core principles, like what they really mean. Let's talk about that. These 6 core principles are: first, adopt a holistic view. It's like think systematically and avoid siloed decisions. Then focus on the value, which is like deliver outcomes that truly matter and not just meet deadlines or the budget. Then embed the quality, which is like build quality into every process from day one. Then be an accountability leader, like own your decisions and foster the trust. Then integrate sustainability, which is like consider the environment, social and the economic impact throughout the course of the project. And then lastly, which is the build an empowered culture, which is like promoting and encouraging collaboration, diversity and psychological safety. Next we have performance domains, which has moved from the 7th to the 8th edition. The 8th one has like stakeholders and teams, like confusing, development approach and life cycle, planning, project work, delivery, like project work and delivery, then measurement and performance and uncertainty. So these are the 8 domains they have. So I mean, when you study it, it feels a little confusing, like on all the activities, like what exactly which you need to do when you focus on these domains. In the 8th edition, it looks a little clear. So you have like governance, you have like scope, you have schedule, you have finance, which is like scope, time, which are the 3 pillars of any project. Then you have stakeholders, then you have resources, and you have risk. Pretty clear, right? Next, move on the focus area. So this was there in the PMBOK 6th edition, which is part of 2016 version. It was removed in 2017 when PMBOK 7 was introduced, and now PMI has realized that this is very important for any project manager to understand how they need to work in their project in your day-to-day life. So that's why they're bringing that back in. But there is a difference actually. In PMBOK 6, it was following the method of the waterfall. So it's like first you need to do this initiation, then you need to do planning, then you need to do execution, then you need to do monitoring and controlling, and then you need to do closing. So after closing, it is all closed, it's done. But in the Agile, when we talk about Agile in PMBOK 8, it is like it is like the same cycle which is going on, but it is like repetitive. Okay, that's the main difference. So in the initiation, what comes is like when you define the project charter, the first phase of the project, where you align the stakeholders, expectation of the project purpose, and the get the authorization. So it's the phase when you assign a project manager to a project. Then we have the planning, in which we establish the scope, schedule, budget, resources, define the how project will be executed, and control. So it's like setting up the baseline on the project. Then the part comes of the execution, where you're actually working on the project, which you're executing the project, like how the activities are being managed, how the team is working on day-to-day life, how do you manage the teams, deliver and work on the activities, define the project, and submit the deliverables. Then comes the monitoring and closing, and monitoring and closing is more like how do you track the progress, how do you manage the changes, how do you ensure the quality, how do you compare the actuals to the plan and take corrective action. This is very, very important. Like your team may be working on the execution, but the project manager has to focus on the monitoring and controlling part. But PM is also a part of execution. And then comes the closing part, in like where you finalize all the deliverables, you capture the lessons learned, you release the resources once the project is over. Not just releasing the resources when the project is over, when the project goes plus minus in terms of how much activities you need to perform in a certain sprint. Based on that, you need to manage your resources as well. Then you close the contracts and deliver the final outcome to the customer. That's are the 5 focus areas. Then we have 40 processes. So in PMBOK 6 there were 49. PMBOK 7 was not talking about any processes, and in the PMBOK 8 they brought in 40 processes as of now. So all you need to know about these processes are these are mapped across 7 performance domains and 5 focus areas, which we discussed in the previous slide. Then each process includes like inputs, tools and techniques, and the outputs. They are like the guidelines and not mandates. So when we say guidelines, it means like whenever you're working on any task, you need to make sure that you have these tools and techniques in your mind, but it is not mandatory that you perform all of those activities for that particular situation. You can actually tailor them to project on your project context. Then in terms of processes like quality, communication, procurement, you need to follow the organizational policies, not project specific processes. Then they support agile, waterfall and hybrid approach equally. Interesting, right? After that, let's look into what PMBOK 8 is bringing in. Yeah, I'm very excited that they are bringing in the artificial intelligence, which is very much dedicated appendix on AI in the for the project managers. Then you can use the AI for scheduling, for risk prediction, for forecasting. AI is enabled for the planning and reporting. We will have a look at it when we are going to work on the course for this one. It can be used for data analytics and for the project projections. Then the next important thing they are bringing is the sustainability, which is ESG, in which they will see about not a standalone core principles, the environmental social responsibilities, every project manager's responsibility. You need to take ethical decision making in your projects. Then you need to focus on your long-term impact and considerations. Then we will also work on the PMO evolution, the dedicated appendix on PMOs, modern PMO roles and governance, strategic alignment, portfolio level delivery. Then we'll talk about the procurement updates, updated procurement guidance, modern contract management, vendor relationships reflects current resourcing realities. Great, right? Now let's look into the golden rule about PMBOK and the PMP exam. One of the golden rule basically is that the PMP exam is not based on the PMBOK guide, and a lot of people make this mistakes that they think that PMBOK guide is the only reference material, so they start cramming it, understanding it. When they have memorized the PMBOK 8, they straight away appear for the PMP certification examination and they fail. So please keep this in mind that PMBOK 8 is a reference guide but not covers the entire syllabus. Okay, the new PMBOK edition does not immediately change the exam. PMI released the new eco separately, which is like the 2026 version. Previous one was the 2021, and both exam versions leads to the same PMP credentials. Okay, so even if you appear before June 2026 or after June 2026, you will still be a PMP certified professional and your PMP certification is valid. Now let's look into the exam content outline, domain weightage. So there are 3 domains which has been highlighted. One is the people, the second one is the processes, and the third one is the business environment. So in the people, it was like 42% earlier, it has now moved down to 33%. Then it was 50% for the processes, it has now moved down to 41%. However, the business environment, which was just 8% earlier, has now reached to 26%. Like, a lot of questions are going to come in from business environment, so please keep this in mind. Now let's look into the new PMP exam format, like what is going to change in this new format. So in terms of the total questions, we used to have like around 180 questions. It is, I mean, we still have 18 questions till 8th of July 2026, but from 9th of July onwards, we will start getting 185 questions. The scored questions are 175 in total. It is still 175 in total, but instead of 5 pre-test questions, you're going to receive 10 pre-test questions. Then in terms of questions type, you will have multiple choice, hotspots, limited drag and drop questions. Now in this one, you have multiple choice. You will have like pull down list. You will have like image matching scenarios. You will again have the hotspot scenarios and the drag and match. So these will still be there. So the new things coming in are like pull down list and image matching. The focus is on knowledge recall plus situational. So you'll have situational questions plus they check like how much knowledge you still remember, how much other things you have still remember. Now in the new format is more on the scenario based and the judgment driven decisions. Now this is very important to understand. Why I'm saying is because a number of times you will receive a question during examination, and in which all the 4 options which you are receiving all seems right to you. Now what you need to make sure is that what is the best answer in that situation. So it mostly depends on your judgment. Like as a PMP certified project manager, what is the next course of action you will be performing if you face certain scenario. The new topics are like on artificial intelligence, sustainability, ESG and hybrid methods. Like ESG stands for like environment, social and governance. The eco domains, which is the exam content outline domains, are like which we just discussed in the previous slide. 42% for people, 50% for processes and 8% for business. It was there like this, but it has changed to like 33% for people, 41% for processes and 26% for business. Now you have 2 paths. The path A is take the exam before 9th of July 2026, and we have already discussed what are the changes coming in, or you wait or give the exam after 9th July 2026. For this one, like the additional things which we have discussed, you need to study like the AI, the ESG and other activities. So the PMP eligibility, like what stays the same, 35 content hours are still the same. You need to have same credentials globally recognized, application audit processes remain unchanged, 3 domain structure remain unchanged, predictive agile remain unchanged, and there's no negative marking for the wrong answers. This remain unchanged. Okay, what is changing is basically the training hours must align with the new eco topics. All right, so whatever you are learning on should contain the new exam format. The late Q4 2026 live training must come from the ATP's China RAP or the JC programs, but on demand self-paced training from any provider is still accepted. So this is all right, so you don't have to worry about it. If you are learning from Udemy, from Simply Learn, from any other source, or from my certification examination, then it's all good. You don't have to worry about it. The active CAPM holders gets like 23 credits towards training, so they don't have to like get all the 35 hours. They just need to get 35 minus 23 hours for those trainings. This is very important, guys. This is like you will have an enhanced verification in PMP application based on ISO 17024. What does it mean? They will see that whatever activities you are performing, does it really lead to the people, process and the business domains and the process groups which we talk about, and it will rely more on the clarity. So earlier, if your PMP application is selected for audit, right, so you need to make sure that your manager signs your application, you have completed those number of hours which are required for the PMP application. But if now it has been certified, just the signing of the application is not sufficient of what you have completed earlier. What is also important is that you are actually following or leading the project. All right, so moving on, let's see what action plan you need to take, like what you really need to do right now. So first thing which I really recommend you to understand, like where you are currently standing, and you need to decide on your timeline when you want to appear for the examination. then understand. Don't buy into fear. Do not fear that the new PMP exam is coming in, so you have to re-study everything. The more you fear, the more it will come true. Keep some confidence in yourself. Start building business acumen, because business acumen is like moving from 8 to 26%. So this is a main focus area you need to focus on if you're still studying from the exam content outline of 2021 PMBOK 7th edition. Okay, then get familiar with AI in the project management. So if you are a project manager, or if you're a project coordinator, or whatever your role is, you need to start using AI for scheduling, for risk prediction, forecasting, reporting. You don't have to be a data scientist, but at least you need to know how to apply those AI agents or generative AI for your activities, as I mentioned over here. Then start practicing on the scenario based thinking. Okay, and then join PMI and download PMBOK, so that you can actually start studying the additional things which are coming in the PMBOK 8. Not a rocket science, and I'm pretty sure you should be able to pass the examination. So the key activities and the bottom line, if I have to highlight, are the PMBOK is the best of both worlds. There are 6 principles, 7 performance domains, 5 focus areas, and 40 processes. This is the new framework. The PMP exam is changing from 9th July 2026. Do not forget that. If you are booking before June 9, 26, don't worry about it, go for it. If you are planning to book your exam on 9th July or after that, start working on the additional things which is being introduced in PMBOK 8. Business environment is very important, start studying it. AI sustainability, hybrid methods, and value delivery are the major new exam topics. Both exam format are going to give you the same PMP credential, so there is no better version than the PMP certified project manager. And 85% of whatever you are studying now carries forward. So understand that this is an evolution of what you are studying so far, and not a revolution. You don't have to like re-engineer everything whatever you have studied till now, so don't worry about it. All right, so that's all about the PMP certification I wanted to talk to you about. If you have any doubts, if you need any clarity in any of the topic, please put your comments in the comment section below. I will look into all the comments which have been given on this channel, and I will answer all of those questions personally. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you. Bye bye.